Good afternoon. Just before we commence this afternoon's hearings, we had a hearing on January the 15th against development permit 25D154. That hearing was adjourned, and the board has determined that they don't need any additional information. So at this time, I'd like to close that hearing, and a decision will be coming out in 15 days from today. So with that, I will open our first hearing and I'll ask the clerk to introduce the board to you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The board members this afternoon are our chairman, Mr. Gar Beacom, and board members R.D. McHugh, Matt Fox, Bern Damon, and myself, Garrity Stanley, the Subdivision and Development Appeal Board Clerk. Does anyone have any objections to the board members this afternoon? Not seeing any or hearing any, then I pass it back to you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. With that, I will outline our procedures for the afternoon. First, I will ask the clerk to introduce the appeal into the minutes. Then we'll have a presentation from the municipal representative. And, and then after that, everyone that's involved in the hearing can make a presentation. Doesn't matter whether it's oral or written. We just encourage you to make sure that we know everything that we need to know. Even if we're privy to information that's been presented elsewhere in the county, unless it's introduced here in the hearing, we cannot use it in making our decision. So I emphasize that you make sure we get that data. We'd ask that you give your name before you make your presentation. After each presentation, the board members will be given the opportunity to ask questions. Then finally, there will be a time for participants in the hearing to make closing comments if they so desire. We will have closing comments from municipal rep, the applicant, and the appellants, anybody that's affected by this hearing. Anybody, before we go to the closing comments, anybody involved in the hearing can ask questions through the chair of anybody else involved in the hearing. After the closing comments, there will be the opportunity for board members to get any points clarified. No new information can be introduced at that time. It has to be done before the closing comments. So with that, I would ask the clerk to introduce the appeal into the minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Today's appeal is against the approval of development permit 25D310 for a solar power system, private, and relaxation of setbacks to an existing structure on portion southwest 242101 west of the 5th meridian. The appellants are Lance and Terry Griffin and Jack Griffin, and the grounds for their appeal were submitted to and reviewed by the board prior to the hearing. Please note, this appeal hearing is being live streamed and will be available for viewing on the county's website upon completion of the hearing. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Ms. Furnell?
Sorry for the delay. Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. The appeal before you today is against a development officer's decision for the approval of development permit 25D 310. The application is requesting consideration for a solar power system, private, and a relaxation of setbacks.
Excuse me. Can you get closer to the mic, please?
Sure. And a relaxation of setbacks to an existing structure. The subject property is an existing 6.94 acre country residential district parcel accessed from 16th Street West and located directly south of 286th Avenue West, approximately 3.6 kilometers west of Highway 2 and about 5.4 kilometers northwest of the town of Okotoks. The application proposes installation of one private ground-mounted solar power system. The application states that the solar power system is to be 3.7 meters in height with a total surface area of 38.8 square meters. The application requests a relaxation of setbacks for an existing shed. Section 5.6.2 of the Land Use Bylaw provides the development authority with the ability to provide a variance of any yard setback to a maximum of 90% with respect to existing development within the country residential district. The proposed array meets required setbacks as per the Land Use Bylaw. The submitted site plan shows that the location of an existing shed 1, highlighted in blue, is being 8.2 meters from the north property line when it is required to be set back 15 meters, and 40.91 meters from the center line of the municipal road when it is required to be set back 48 meters, and does not comply with the required minimum setback distances as outlined within the country residential district land use bylaw. Shed 2, which was located just east of shed 1, as seen in the submitted site plan highlighted in yellow, was successfully moved to meet setbacks. Due to its construction, shed 1 was unable to be moved and therefore requires a relaxation of setbacks. A ground-mounted solar power system, private, is a discretionary use under the country residential land use district. The proposed solar power system, private, does not exceed the maximum height allowance of 12 meters, and the application states that it will be located to meet minimum yard setback requirements under the land use bylaw. The photos from the left show the shed that was moved to meet setbacks. The photo in the middle shows the row of trees along the west of the subject parcel that assists in screening the shed from 16th Street West. The photo on the right shows shed 1 from the very northwest corner of the subject property. Given the information provided by the applicant, the approved is well below the maximum height allowance of 12 meters, and the application states that it will be located to meet minimum yard setback requirements under the land use bylaw. Unless otherwise directed by the approving authority, applicants have 24 months from the date of issuance of the development permit in order to complete any conditions appearing under the conditions of approval. In providing determination on the appeal of a development permit decision, the board may choose to confirm, revoke, or vary the development authority's decision or any conditions attached to it, or make substitute an order of your own. All additional information has been provided and included within the agenda package for the board's consideration. This concludes my presentation. Thank you, Mr. Chairman and board.
Thank you. Do board members have any questions? Being none at this time, we'd now go to the landowner. Mr. White.
Thank you.
Sorry, you have to, actually, I can never tell on that mic. It doesn't light up, I don't think.
Hello. Okay, good. Oh, sorry. Okay, so thank you, Mr. Chairman and board members. Thank you for your time in dealing with this matter. And thank you, Carrie, for helping me through this process, helping me to understand. And thank you for the excellent summary that you just presented on this, on our proposal here on our objective, which is to install some solar panels. And again, just as background, of course, I had no idea whatsoever that there were any constraints as to where a shed could be placed on your property. It's just unfortunate that this shed was built where it is. And of course, I had no idea that the placement of a shed could in any way affect something like a solar installation that has absolutely nothing to do with the shed. And as Carrie said, we had 2 sheds in that area. The one that was just on blocks, as she suggested, asked if we could move it, and we did. We up and moved with no, I mean, it was not easy, but we got it moved. It was no problem because it could be moved. It was on blocks. The remaining shed simply cannot be moved. It's built with 4 posts in the ground, and then up from that, and its external structure is sheet metal with bolts in it. If you can't simply take it apart and reassemble it, it would be destroyed. So that shed has to stay where it is. It's not possible to move it. Now, I've printed off the policy sheets from the website for Foothills County here, and I just want to go through our situation and just make sure that I understand exactly how this all works. First of all, I'll just the purpose of a setback here on the setback information, land use bylaw and regulations. The purpose of a setback, it says, it means the distance which a building or other structure is to be removed from a property line, a street, a road, a river, a stream, or a floodplain, any place which needs protection. So the purpose of a setback from that is to provide protection for something. I gather that seems to be what that is saying. Now, our shed, as Gary pointed out, is over 8 meters from the north fence line and over 40 meters to the middle of 16th Street. And there's on the north side, there's a 12-foot high hedge between 286 Avenue and our shed. You can't even see it from that direction. It's completely obscured. There's a power line on the other side of the fence line, so nothing else can happen there. And then going out to 286 or to 16th Street, 286 is a subdivision road. 16th Street is a county road. So that's why there's the 40 meters. But between our shed and 16th Street, we've got a natural gas pipeline. Then we've got our row of spruce trees. Then there's a Shaw communication cable in the ground, and then there's our fence. So our fence is 35 feet from the middle of that road, which is, so there's actually an easement there at the front, but that's irrelevant to what we're talking about here now. So there's, given the positioning of the shed and everything that's around it, there's zero chance of that shed posing any kind of danger or inconvenience or problem of any kind to anything that could possibly happen on either road or to anybody who's adjacent to us in either direction. Now, and then as Carrie pointed out, her role as a development officer is to ascertain whether our shed is in any way going to pose a danger or an inconvenience or a problem, and she's determined it's not. And so therefore it's her job and part of her role to request a relaxation, which is, again, another policy from the Foothills land use bylaw. The website, the summary of it is here. And it's the building, it says buildings within setback distances. You can either relocate or remove. Well, we couldn't do that with this shed. It's not possible. But then the prescribed procedure is for the land use development officer to obtain approval under a development permit for relaxation of setbacks, which is what Carrie has done. It's part of her job. That's what it's a standard procedure. She's authorized to request up to 90%. Well, going to 16, we're only asking 20%, and going to 286, we're asking about 45%. So we're well within the provisions and the compliance of the bylaws. the variance power granted to the development officer in consideration of a relaxation. The development authority may exercise its variance power prescribed in the land use and approve a development permit for a permitted discretionary use with or without conditions, with regulations. I'm just reviewing this. I know you're familiar with it, but I'm just making sure I understand it. But anyway, there's four conditions here that it suggests need to be met in order for relaxation to be approved. So the proposed development could not unduly interfere with amenities, use, enjoyment, value of adjacent lots. Well, it can't possibly infringe on anybody's use of their lot or anything that can happen on the road. The proposed, well, it's not a proposed development, it's an existing development, it's a shed. It's a good looking shed, it's a nice looking shed, but you can barely see it from any direction. You almost have to stop on the road and look in to see the shed, but it's a good looking shed. There are factors due to the development, such as location. Well, the building's there, so it was put there for a purpose, but we can't move it now. And there are mechanisms to mitigate. Well, there's nothing to mitigate. The shed can't possibly cause any problems to anybody under any circumstances. So we're in complete compliance with the purpose of setbacks. We're not causing any possible danger, and we're in complete compliance with the process and the procedure and the policy of requesting a relaxation. Okay, now I'm going to go specifically to the provisions of, or the complaints on the appeal notices. I'll start with the one from L&T Griffin. Okay, so first of all, they say the relaxation of setbacks should not be allowed. Well, that's a policy statement. The relaxation of setbacks is clearly allowed. The setback policy and the relax policy are well defined. They're part of the land use bylaw. To say that they should not be allowed it makes no sense. It's ridiculous. The buildings are sitting right up against the fence line, which is clearly untrue. Our buildings are nowhere near the fence line. We're 8 meters from one and 40, and well, not 40, but 30 meters or so from the other. We're a long way from the fence line, and you can't even see the shed where it is. It says that there is plenty of room on the property to move the building. Well, that's fine, but it's irrelevant because we moved the one that could be moved. This one cannot be moved. It's not possible to move it. And then the final point they have here doesn't even make sense. It says allowing the setback. Well, nobody's asking to allow the setback. A setback is a definition. It's a prescribed amount in the bylaw that says things should be removed from roads, etc. And it sets a very bad precedent. There's no precedent here whatsoever. Where the relaxation of setbacks is a well-defined procedure and process within the county bylaws. The positioning of our shed has nothing to do with any precedent that could possibly be set. And it says an MD roadway. Well, the one is an MD or a county roadway, the other is not. It's a subdivision roadway. It was put in after we moved in, after we bought our property. That was just fields there to the north of us. That road was built after we purchased the property, and it was opened up to sell properties behind us, and that's just fine. That was, that's normal. Then I'm going to move on to the one from J. Griffin. It says, do not allow setback relaxation. Well, again, that's the same as the first one, but that statement is completely contrary to county policy. County policy clearly allows setback relaxation. We had to meet the county's rules. Well, we're meeting all the county rules. Our shed is in complete compliance with the purpose of setbacks, and we're in complete compliance with all of the requirements for getting a relaxation of setback. And they had to move a shed. Well, we moved one of our sheds that could be moved. The one that rains can't be moved. I think I've covered all of that. So anyway, I'll just summarize a little bit. So again, I repeat, our objective is to install solar panels, and this shed has absolutely nothing to do with the solar panels. It's a good-looking shed. It's barely visible from the roads. There's zero chance of this shed causing any problems of any kind to anybody under any circumstances, and we're in complete compliance with all of the bylaw constraints and requirements. in terms of requesting a setback, in terms of the purpose of setbacks. So again, these complaints in here are completely groundless. There's no reason for them, and to prevent our solar installation based on groundless complaints would be a gross miscarriage of justice. So I thank you, Mr. Chairman and board members, for listening to me.
Thank you. Do board members have any questions? Mr. McHugh?
Thanks, Mr. Chair. Through the chair to the applicant, just how long is that, the shed that you couldn't move, how long has it been in that location? How many years? And is it
About 4 years?
about 4 years?
Yeah.
Okay, does that predate 286?
No. 286 was done, well, quite a long time ago. I don't remember the exact date, but we moved in 1994 is when we moved in. And so we've been there a long time, and 286 was done soon after that. There's a lot of houses behind us now.
Okay, but the shed that you couldn't move has been there for 4 years or so?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Further questions? Being none, we'd now hear from the appellant, Ms. Griffin.
Hello, thank you for taking my information. I would just like to verify a couple of things. In the permit application, I wasn't aware that the solar panels were not anywhere near the shed. But the concern I have is being part of the county, and we've built numerous of properties and buildings with houses and outbuildings on the properties. We've always had to meet the guidelines of the distance from the fence lines. My concern is that when the shed was put there, perhaps only 4 or 5 years ago, it was in violation of the guidelines at that time. The shed may not be able to be moved in its current conditions, but for wood beams going down on the ground, this can be cut and perhaps moved. I just think that when you drive down 286th, yes, there is a set of trees there. You've got the mailboxes right there. I think that everyone along that 286th Avenue subdivision has followed the guidelines and kept their buildings and homes within the proper distance. And this building is not that. So I don't know why we would want to have a building so close to the fence line when everyone else has to keep it away from the fence line.
Do you have anything further, or are you open to questions?
I'm open to questions. I'm fine. We live about a half a mile farther south of Mr. White's property. We've both been in the area for about the same amount of time, years and years. And I'm just concerned because 16th Street is a main drag. I'm not worried about that one so much, but 286, the building is quite close to the fence line. And I believe it should be moved the same as if any other person was trying to do it. I had thought that it had to have something to do with the solar panels. If it's not because of the solar panels, then just move the shed.
Do board members have any questions? Thank you. At this time, I don't know, I have a Mr. Jack Griffin on my list, but I don't know that he's present.
I'm here. Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
Is it my turn?
Yes.
Okay, so what I'm saying is similar to what Terry said. I also live and drive by this property all the time and can see the shed, but I'm not arguing whether or not we can see the shed from the road or not. The challenge that we have is every time we've built something and every time anybody else has built something, we've always followed the county guidelines first. And because we chose not to, or they chose not to with this particular building and now have and found out they're asking for an appeasement for it. I don't think that's necessarily necessary. Why would we allow one person? And then once you allow one person to do it, why not everybody else? We have a neighborhood and an aesthetic that we've all been very proud to maintain. And I just don't understand why we would make an exception for a building that doesn't need an exception. And I understand that he built it and may have concreted the posts into the grounds, and that's a choice he made, and that's how I might build a shed as well. I just would check with the rules first, because we can see it, everybody can see it. Now, when the trees fill up in the summer months, you see it less, but you absolutely see it in the winter months when it just sticks. And that's really our reason for appeal: is why would we allow one person to break the rules for no particular? And I understand that he built it; it's just a shed, but it's still pretty white in a sea of places that aren't white. So that's my appeal.
Thank you. Board members have any questions? Thank you, sir.
Can you hear me or not? I'm sorry, I'm trying to mute myself.
No, there are no questions from the board. So thank you for your presentation. So at this time, does anybody involved in the hearing have questions of anybody else involved in the hearing through the chair? Being none, I'd now go to closing comments, if any. Start with the municipal rep. Any closing comments?
I have no comments. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. White, do you have any closing comments?
Is my mic on? Yes,
Yep.
thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would just reiterate that the complainants are suggesting that we're setting a precedent, and we're not setting a precedent. The relaxation of setbacks is a well-defined procedure. It's not something new, and they are incorrect. There are many sheds very close to the property lines along 16th Street and along other streets very close to us. I can point out any number of structures that either have or would require relaxation of setbacks if they were in a situation like ours. So I reiterate, we're trying to install solar panels. I'm sorry that we've ended up in this kerfluffle over a shed that's got nothing whatsoever to do with our so-called solar panels, but that shed simply can't be moved. It's not a matter of cutting it off. You can't, the one we moved, we were able to put on skids and pull it behind a truck. This one, I don't know how you'd move this one, even if you could. It would, we would just wreck it. The shed contains stuff of my daughter and my son-in-law. They've got furniture and personal effects and things in there. They need the shed. And to destroy it for no reason makes no sense whatsoever. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Do the appellants have any closing comments?
None, thank you.
No, thank you very much.
Thank you. Board members have any clarifying points that they wish? Thank you. So with that, I will close the hearing. A decision will come out in writing in about 15 days. Thank you all for your presentations today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'll call our hearing to order and ask the clerk to introduce the appeal or to introduce the board members. Sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The board members for this afternoon are our chairman, Mr. Gar Beacom, and board members R.D. McHugh, Matt Fox, Bern Damon, and myself, Garrity Stanley, the Subdivision and Development Appeal Board Clerk. Does anyone have any objections to the board members today? In hearing none, I pass it back to you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. With that, I will ask the clerk to introduce the appeal into the minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This appeal is against the approval of Development Permit 25D264 for a solar power system private on portion east 331801 west of the 5th Meridian. The appellant is James Hood, and the grounds for his appeal were submitted to and reviewed by the board prior to the hearing. Please note this appeal hearing is being live streamed and will be available for viewing on the county's website upon completion of the hearing. Back to you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. I'll now outline our procedures for the afternoon. First, the municipal representative will give us a presentation. Then we will hear from the appellant, if present. Hear from the applicants, then the appellant. And then after each presentation, the board members are given the opportunity to ask questions. I forgot to mention that anyone who wishes to support the appeal or in opposition to the appeal will also be given the opportunity to speak. After each presentation, the board members will be given the opportunity to ask questions. And then finally, there will be a opportunity for anyone participating in the hearing to ask questions through the chair of anyone else. Then there will be a time of closing comments if so wished. They're not necessary, but you can do that. After the closing comments, the board members have the opportunity to get any points clarified. No new information can be entered at that time. So with that, we go to the municipal officer for presentations.
Thank you, and good afternoon, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. The appeal before you today is against a development officer's decision for the approval of Development Permit 25D264. The application is requesting consideration for a solar power system private. The subject property is a 151.84 acre agricultural district parcel located directly northwest of Cole Trail West and 530th Avenue West, approximately 12 kilometers west of the town of High River. The application proposes installation of one private ground-mounted solar power system. The application states the solar power system is to be 4.26 meters in height, with a total surface area of 67.35 square meters. A ground-mounted solar power system private is a discretionary use under the Agricultural Land Use District. The proposed solar power system private does not exceed the maximum height allowance of 12 meters, and the application states that it will be located to meet minimum yard setback requirements under the land use bylaw. The proposed application identifies the placement of the solar power array at approximately 165 meters from the south property line. The images show the approximate placement of the array in all four directions. Given the information provided by the applicant, the approved is well below the maximum height allowance of 12 meters and meets minimum yard setback requirements under the land use bylaw. This property is located within the South Central District of Foothills County's growth management strategy. This area of the South Central District is largely agricultural, with a number of first parcel out country residential parcels. This area supports moderate growth and development, particularly in locations where there's infrastructure nearby and where agricultural operations are less likely to be affected. Unless otherwise directed by the approving authority, applicants have 24 months from the date of issuance of the development permit in order to complete any conditions appearing under the conditions of approval. A list of suggested conditions have been provided for consideration. In providing determination on the appeal of a development permit decision, the board may choose to confirm, revoke, or vary the development authority's decision or any conditions attached to it, or make or substitute an order of your own. All additional information has been provided and included within the agenda package for the board's consideration. This concludes my presentation. Thank you, Mr. Chairman and board.
Thank you. Any questions, board members? Being none, Mr. Killam, do you have any words for us?
Yeah, I'd love to say some words since we're here. We had hoped. Oh, I'd hoped to have the appellant here so we could have a good discussion about what his appeal was. But since he's not, I'll tell you our side anyway. I'm going to read my wife's quick, and then I'll read mine, and they're just short, so don't worry about it. As one of the owners of this family ranch, which we have built over the last 25 years, we are seeking approval for a personal use solar array to invest in the long-term sustainability of our operation. The core of our argument is simple. This is personal use system designed exclusively to offset our own household and ranch electricity consumption. We have met all the provincial and county requirements. Our research over the past few years, which included examining impacts on our livestock and native wildlife, revealed a critical distinction. Most environmental studies focus on utility scale projects. These projects cover thousands of acres and generate megawatts of power. In stark contrast, our system's footprint, as was said earlier, is just 67 square meters, or roughly the size of a double-car garage. It is an accessory use to our ranch, equivalent to a scale to any outbuilding. Importantly, the system will be not fenced, ensuring safe passage and habitat for all wildlife. While reviewing the studies, I specifically investigated the effects on birds and waterfowl. We are the owners of a neighboring quarter adjacent to our home quarter. The neighboring quarter is a key migration stop for species like mergansers, trumpeter swans, herons, and geese. However, it is vital to state, for the record, these birds use the pond, located over half a mile away. They have never been observed on the specific mowed patch of grass where these panels will be situated, or anywhere else near our home. Based on all research and consultations, we are confident the environmental impact is negligible. Our commitment as stewards of this land is absolute. Our livelihood depends on the health of this ecosystem. This small personal use array will not negatively impact that ecosystem. We are simply asking for the right to power our ranch with the sun. We respectfully request that you uphold the development officer's original decision. We appreciate the appellant raising their concerns and look forward to a productive discussion on this matter. And now if I can just have 30 more seconds just to read what I was going to say. My name is Darren Killam. Having lived and worked on this land for many years, my primary commitment as a rancher is to the health of our soil and livestock. We simply do not implement any changes that would compromise them. This is a small private family system that will be sited on our front yard. We chose this area to not impact the agricultural land that we use for grazing, crop, or livestock. Regarding wildlife, research confirms that bird mortality at solar facilities is extremely low, much less than the structures such as windows or wire fences. The lake effect is an issue confined to massive utility scale sites with thousands of panels. As for the glare, modern panels are engineered to absorb sunlight, not reflect it. If they were reflecting light, they wouldn't be doing their job, and I would not be paying for them. This is a low impact personal use project. In Alberta, private use solar production is capped to offset only the power we use on site. With this solar system, the grass will still grow, the soil stays healthy, the birds will still fly to the pond, and we get to use the sun. Thank you.
Thank you. Questions, board members? Being none, is there anyone that wishes to speak in support of the applicant? Sir, are you here to observe, or would you wish to use the microphone, please? Up here.
My name's Dan Nelson. I'm a neighbour, and I'm just here to support Darren, and I believe his statements covered everything I would have said. Thank you.
Board members have questions of Mr. Nelson? Mr. Damon?
Mr. Chairman, thanks for contributing to the hearing. I was just wondering, how far do you live from the proposed development?
I border his fence line on those subdivisions to the south.
Thank you very much.
Further questions? Thank you, sir. At this time, we would normally go to the appellant, but we don't have an appellant or a representative. So I would go to closing comments if there are any. Ms. Representative, anything?
I have no closing comments. Thank you.
And does the applicant have any closing comments? Board members need any points clarified? So with that, I will close the hearing. The board will make its decision in private here this afternoon, and decision will come out in writing in about 15 days. Thanks for coming out this afternoon. Thank you very much.